Is this camera working?
Yes, Daddy, can you see us?
Hello, James, Albus, and Lily. How's your time at Hogwarts?
Very well, Daddy. But can you tell us a bedtime story?
Yes, a story. But I have a test tomorrow, Daddy. I'm scared. It's over the cell membrane.
Well, I have a story that will help you remember. The duty of the cell membrane is to protect its home, and I have experience protecting my home. It all started when I was just a young lad, only 17, tasked to defeat an evil man. It was the Battle of Hogwarts.
Who was the evil man?
His name was Voldemort. He was trying to take over the wizarding world and was attacking my home, Hogwarts, with his army of Death Eaters. The Order of the Phoenix fought back.
What does Hogwarts have anything to do with the cell?
Think of Hogwarts as the cell, while Daddy and his men tried to protect it.
It wasn't just the Order of the Phoenix either. There were many aspects that came into play. First, Aunt Hermione, Uncle Ron, and I snuck into Hogwarts through the use of the underground tunnels.
The underground tunnels, that's just like the transport proteins that help get the materials in and out of the cell. Only this time, Daddy and Uncle were the only ones being transported.
What about the phospholipids?
A phospholipid is a lipid made of glycerol, 2 fatty acid tails, and a phosphate-linked head group, and it is around the entire cell. Just like the magical force field that the professors put up so only some could enter. And just like Professor McGonagall once said, do your duty to protect
our school.
Hey, those soldiers on the bridge are just like the glycolipids. They help to stabilize the cell membrane. In this case, the soldiers were an added line of defense with a magical force field.
Story relate to polarity at all?
Well, polarity is the way atoms bond to each other. For example, polar molecules easily bond with other molecules to share atoms unequally. They are like the Death Eaters who are desperate to gain followers.
So the polar would be like the Death Eaters. They're weaker and share bonds only with each other.
Let me explain hydrophobia. Hydrophobic interactions are nonpolar and tend to stay away from water, just like how Death Eaters dislike the Muggleborn.
Exactly. Hydrophilic interactions, on the other hand, are molecules that are highly attracted to water. Normally, these molecules are nonpolar. This is just like the Order of the Phoenix. They were accepting of all wizards, regardless of their blood status and muggles.
Okay, no laughing. Let's focus.
I remember from class, we spoke about hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic tails. The hydrophobic tails shielded themselves from the water with the hydrophilic heads.
Every wizard played a role in this battle, and each spell casted by a wizard damaged the force field more and more. It wasn't until Voldemort used the strongest wand in existence, the Elder Wand, did the barrier break. After this, the Death Eaters were able to infiltrate the castle, traveling on foot and by apparating.
Temperature and fluidity both play a major role in the movement of molecules in and out of the cell. As temperature increases, the membrane becomes more fluid and permeable, allowing more molecules to enter the cell.
Ah, I see. When Voldemort used the Elder Wand to destroy the force field, it was just like increasing the temperature of the cell. The force field weakened and the Death Eaters were able to flow freely, just like the molecules entering and leaving a cell when the membrane is in a fluid state.
Exactly, Lily. Now back to the force field. Since Hogwarts is so big, the force field weakened easily. You can relate this back to the surface area and volume ratio. The bigger the surface area to volume ratio, the easier it is for things to diffuse.
And as the ratio increases, the membrane allows nutrients to enter and dissolve more easily, just like how Death Eaters were then able to infiltrate Hogwarts.
Gee whiz, everything is starting to make sense now. Can you relate it back to the chemicals that move in and out of the cell, like water, carbon, and phosphorus?
Back to people. Water keeps cells hydrated and removes toxins, just as Professor Lupin taught Teddy how to use Patronus charm against toxin removal.
Yes, I had the help of many amazing people. Lupin was one of them. There was also Severus Snape, one of the greatest men I know. He protected me during my time at Hogwarts, even when I didn't know.
That makes him like phosphorus because he's the backbone of your protection at Hogwarts. Phosphorus is the backbone of nucleic acids.
Carbon is just like Professor Dumbledore. He was the headmaster at Hogwarts for a very long time and taught the importance of unity among students. Just as carbon makes up the phosphate group that makes up the phospholipids. Dumbledore was the backbone of the school.
So, Lily, it's a long story, but that's pretty much the Battle of Hogwarts.
Wait, Daddy, did you guys win?
Obviously, they won.
Blimey, Lily, we wouldn't be here if they lost.
Okay, children, okay, off to bed. I'll see you next time.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Daddy. Lupin.
You know.